Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading from the r/entitledpeople subreddit, so let's jump into it. I'm cutting my camping trip with my bratty nieces short and going back home tonight. My sister is pissed. I left for a camping trip this morning with my nieces and my daughters. My daughters are 3 and 5 years old. My nieces are 6, 8, 14, and 16 years old. My sister lives 3 hours away and drove them to my house last night so that we could leave early this morning. We're an hour away from my house. The trip was supposed to be until Saturday. The 14 and 16-year-old haven't been listening at all. They feed off of each other. They have been talking back to me non-stop. They swear at me and give constant attitude. When we got here, I told them to watch the younger kids while I set up the camper, picnic table, and chairs. They took my kids to the rocky part of the river nearby and they were swimming in it. They were not watching the younger kids at all. I had to go get the younger kids and they couldn't understand why I would be upset. This was for about 5 minutes, but in that 5 minutes, the younger kids could have drowned. I told them this and they said, "Then why don't you watch them?" and walked away laughing. They were making TikToks for a while and dancing provocatively. Got my daughters involved when I specifically said I didn't want them posted online. They refused to delete the videos and told me it's their TikToks and they post what they want. I've also seen them take pictures and videos of me when they think I can't see them and they're laughing about it. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm also on TikTok. Then they took the younger kids for a walk around the campsite while I made lunch. They tipped over empty porta potties, my 5-year-old told me, loudly yelled body parts, privates, you get the idea, and swear words. Had the younger ones doing it too, just being obnoxious. They also were littering and left their gum wrappers wherever they were standing and threw their empty soda bottles into the woods. I took them mini golfing this afternoon. They broke the golf clubs on purpose and threw them into the woods and thought it was hilarious and called it ghetto golf, making TikToks and laughing about it. I had to pay for them breaking the golf clubs. They didn't care. Swimming was a mistake too since they kept purposely splashing the younger kids in the face, and the 14-year-old tried to drown my 5-year-old daughter. She said it was an accident. Dinner was a disaster since they were insinuating BJs with the hot dogs and lied about going to the bathroom and took the ketchup bottle with them and sprayed it on the side of my camper. They refused to wipe it off, so I had to do it. They were singing inappropriate rap songs when I tried to have a campfire, and when I told them to stop, they mocked me and continued. They lied about leaving their bug spray in the camper, and took their s'mores and smeared it on the inside of my blanket, and dug their feet into my mattress and left holes in it. They also put chewing gum on the back of the door. They wanted to go to the park after dinner, and I went with them. They wouldn't let the younger ones have a turn on the swings and tried to kick me when I told them to give them a turn. We have been in this camper trying to sleep for the last 2 hours and it's been hell. It feels like I'm on a boat and those two won't stop moving around. They keep taking the lantern and going to the bathroom, coming back giggling, making fart noises, fake loud snoring, and trying to scare the younger ones by saying they saw a pack of bears outside the camper and now they're scared to sleep. Those two think it's hilarious and already told me they aren't sleeping tonight and they're staying up all night and that I'll have to deal with it. I told them to keep it up and you're going back home tonight. I am not putting up with this for the rest of the week, and they just laughed and told me to go fuck myself and cry about it. So I just called my sister and told her she needs to come pick her kids up tonight. We are coming back tonight. The 14 and 16-year-old are not listening to me at all, destroying my camper and teaching my kids bad things. It's a shame I have to cut this short, but I refuse to put up with this crazy shit for the rest of the week. The two overheard me call their mom and said, "You're wasting your time. She doesn't care what we do. You should know this by now. We can do whatever we want, and we get whatever we want." and they started laughing. My sister got mad at me and told me she drove 3 hours to drop them off yesterday, and I'm out of my mind if I think she's driving 3 hours to pick them up tonight or tomorrow. I said, well, we're coming back tonight. She told me there's nothing wrong with her kids. They are just teenagers having fun, and told me to drive them back to her house if I have such a problem with them. At this point, I just might do that. Drop them off and leave. Ignore my sister for a while. I don't know why she's mad at me when it's her kids that are acting like assholes and ruining this trip for everyone. But I'm the bad guy? If I would have known they were going to act like this, I wouldn't have invited them on the trip to begin with. I haven't seen them in months, and I just thought it would be a nice gesture to take them all camping. Update to my last post about cutting the camping trip short with my bratty nieces, the terrible car ride back, and my sister taking my niece's side. After I posted on here last night, around midnight, I contacted my husband. He gets off work around then, and told him everything they did, and he told me to drive them all home. He did not want any of them back at our house. Of course, I got attitude from the 14 and 16-year-old for calling my husband. You called your husband because you can't handle us? Followed by laughter and other smartass remarks. I grabbed everything that was outside and threw it in the camper, told the girls to grab their shit and get in the van, and that I'm not playing games. I will leave whoever doesn't get in this van here in the next 10 seconds, connected the camper to the van, and started driving. On the way back, we made one bathroom/gas stop about an hour into the drive. I pumped gas and told them to take everyone to the bathroom while I did that. After we left, I found out they decided to clog the toilets in the bathroom. They were laughing and watching the TikTok videos they made of them doing it. The older two were whispering and laughing in the backseat almost the entire trip, playing inappropriate music, yelling random, obscene things out the windows, sticking their heads out the windows, shining their phones' flashlights in everyone's eyes. I kept seeing them sit backwards in my rear view with their feet up, making footprints on the back of the seats, or sticking them out the window. I was about ready to drop them off on the side of the road. Finally ended up getting to their house around 4. Went to the front door, it was unlocked. The kids went inside, and I did as well, because I wanted to talk to my sister. My sister was on the couch with her boyfriend, and I told her what her kids did, and she started laughing. She said that that's not the worst they've done. She then started going on, telling me all about them and all the terrible things they do. The girls were laughing while she was talking about how bad they were. I asked her why she doesn't discipline them, and my sister said with an attitude, "You try living with them and you'll see, nothing phases them," and then asked me how much money does she owe me. I gave her the receipt for the golf clubs, the cost of the new mattress and blanket, and she wrote a check and said, "Here." She then told me I need to leave because she wants to go to bed, and she got back under her blanket on the couch. So I left, and on my way out, the girls took pictures of me and ran upstairs giggling. I got back home around 8:30 this morning. They left footprints on the backseat of my van, chewed gum, and boogers on the door, and goldfish crumbs smeared in the seats. My husband cleaned out the van while I slept, and now I'm back up dealing with nasty texts from my sister. She's now accusing me of abusing her older two. She said they told her I spit in their faces, slapped them across their face, dragged them by their hair, and threw them in bed, threatened them, and kept yelling at them. I did yell at them, but I did not touch them or spit at them. I had enough and just blocked my sister because I'm done dealing with it. She has some nerve, knowing how they behave, to accuse me of anything. I'm over it. If she wants to side with their lies and continue living in a circus, that's on her. I don't know why she gave me attitude after I asked her why she doesn't discipline them, because they need to be disciplined. They're out of control. She thought it was funny how her kids acted. I honestly don't even want my kids around them anymore, and I'm glad we live far enough from her that we rarely see them as it is. I tried to be nice, and this is what I get. Never again. Great googly moogly. All I can say is Send those kids to the ranch. OP's sister included, because I'm assuming those girls got their bad behavior and attitude from her. Although, I do agree with the teenage girls about how OP should be watching her own young kids herself, especially around bodies of water, and especially after those two had already proven themselves not to be trustworthy. But regardless, yeah, that behavior is totally unacceptable, and I suggest that OP just cut off her sister and nieces indefinitely. People like that have no regard for your property and blatantly disrespect you are not worth your time. It's possible the teenagers might grow out of this entitled behavior, but I doubt it. And until then, don't even bother. But that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed that ridiculous entitled people story. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do. And I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!